Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Ministry of Consumer Affairs along with AICTE and MIC organized Tomato Grand Challenge, inviting innovators and researchers to come up with solutions to tackle the issues in tomato value chain. Hydrogreens came up with post-harvest storage solutions for the greens and presented its innovation to the investors.
So the solution that we had designed works for storage of fodder as well as grains and fruits and vegetables. The technology varies a little bit, but essentially the central portion of it is the post-harvest storage barrel that you see. What we do is basically remove the air, internal air of the barrel, and fill it with inert gases like nitrogen and a little bit of oxygen so that the commodity continues to breathe. By this combination, we're able to reduce the breathing rate of the commodities or slow it down so that it does not ripen, or the metabolism of the commodities is slowed down as much as possible.
My name is Vasant. I'm the founder of Hydrogreens. We are essentially a startup that has been solving fodder-related issues for the dairy farmers. And I really want to thank aflatoxin for helping me apply to the Tomato Grand Challenge. Because one of the main problems in fodder is storage, and to store it without any fungus, mold, and aflatoxin, which we cracked it by working last 3-4 years. And that's when we realized that aflatoxin is a much bigger problem that is touching the food industry. And so now, as we speak specifically about tomato, I want to draw your attention to the July problem, where the tomflation happens, right? That's my term there. Essentially because the harvest from South India is not enough to cater to the demand during that season, and the harvest from the North India is almost over, and that's when the transplanting season is. To couple with this, there are extreme climate events, pest attacks, viruses, and lowering productivity. It's a wide range. In India, some people say that per hectare it is 40 tons, 20 tons. Karnataka farmers are saying it's about 8 tons, right? So there's a great deal of variety in variance in that. And then I've not seen Pune, Pimpalgaon infrastructure there, but in Karnataka, Kolar is the second largest producer in India. And there's absolutely no infrastructure except for very powerful traders who are working between the farmers and the market, right? Absolutely zero in terms of storage and transport. And now this is also the data from NAPCONs. If you see the highest loss, by the way, its loss is about 12%. It's from farm to retail transport levels, and especially around sorting, grading, and storing, right? Sorting and grading is a very interesting problem. If, I do want to, solve it in a very different way using artificial intelligence, but let's come to the storage portion a bit here now. If you just think about it, 1 million tons of tomato will require about 16 million units of power to cool it down to, say about 10 degrees, because the temperature of the tomato that comes from the farm is anywhere between 28 to 32, because it comes at random times. They don't practice harvesting in the morning because labor is not there. So you need massive power to cool it one time. And one-time cooling is not enough. You need to cool it over 3 or 4 weeks. And so you need 3 or 4x the energy. Can we afford this? Right? Tomato is just 8% of vegetables. Our post-harvest losses are about 160 some crores, 163 lakh crores or something. So we said, look, no, we can't afford this energy thing. It's capital intensive, yet it is a drain on the system. So what is our answer to figure out, how do we cool it without energy, right? What is the answer? Part of it is this Kanaja, this is the post-harvest storage container. But part of it is really the supply chain and how you really take it up, right? I'll come to that, but very quickly, the features food grade barrel, no chemical treatment required. What we essentially do is take out the air from the barrel and fill it with either nitrogen or CO2, depending on the commodity. And we fill it slightly at a higher atmospheric pressure. It is 100% impermeable to pest, outer climate, and so it does not leak. The air does not leak for several weeks by the time the commodity is already reached a stable phase, right? There's a special fabric inside the lid for absorption of CO2. Now, any commodity, when it respirates, it emits a lot of CO2. It is how the respiration rate is how the commodity is, measured, right? Whether it's ripening or not. So we have given this especially because we want to really arrest the respiration rate of the commodities. And it's super easy to stack and transport and handling, and there is 85% gap in reefer transport in perishables, right? And it is multi-crop. By the way, the same storage unit can be used for fodder, grains, and now perishables, right? There's a special paint that we have applied, which is a nanothermal insulation paint that gives it another thermal barrier of about 8 degrees as of now. Right? So the internal temperature of the barrel will be 8 degrees cooler than the ambient. Now I'll come to the process as to how this works, right? So we are, I told you, as a fodder company, by the way, 9 out of 10 farmers who are growing tomato are also a dairy farmer, right? But it's not necessarily that a dairy farmer is also a tomato grower, right? So we had designed this supply chain for fodder. And we co-locate to a bulk milk cooler where the milk is actually, bulk milk cooler is a proxy for roughly about 2,000 cattle, right? And that amounts to about 2,500 tons of fodder demand per 4-5 months of season, right? What do we do for the rest of the months? We had this question for the last 5 years, and aflatoxin showed us the way, right? So now we are giving, what we are essentially selling is a carbon neutral supply chain as a service for brands who want to, bring clean label milk, clean label tomato, clean label whatever, right? I've used the supply chain. How it works is the farmer harvests, right now we don't need a 7 a.m. harvest. Whenever the farmer harvests, it comes to a gram collection center, which is basically an agency that we appoint, a rural micro entrepreneur. All they need to do is have space to keep those barrels. They'll collect the tomatoes, do size sorting, only size, not color. And then they do pre-cooling there using dry ice. So this is our secret sauce, where we use dry ice to pre-cool. Now dry ice is carbon neutral because it is done from extracted carbon from the climate. And it's brought to about 5 degrees. Then it comes to the bottling unit, which is roughly about 20 kilometers or so. It gets bottled into these barrels, right? Sorted, graded, barreled. Now, the redmost tomato, which needs to move fastest in the supply chain, goes first. And I wish we had some NDDB representative here. We've requested that these tomatoes be sold in milk outlets because it is helping the same supply chain, and milk outlets already have the refrigerators and all of that, right? So at least at the retail outlet, I don't need to invest heavy capex. So the red ones goes fastest, goes to the retail outlets, whereas those with smaller size and greener color can be stored for much longer to hedge on the prices. So we're looking at export markets to begin with. I'll not go into the detail of the TAM, but this is an expanded TAM for us. Our total TAM, including fodder and tomato, rounds up to about $100 billion. But especially with tomato, we want to target the export markets as soon as possible. We are ready. We just need some investment to change the mold of the barrel. And in terms of competitors, sorry for the busy slide here, but what differentiates us is the USPs are that a single solution can cater to multiple, dry and wet biomass. We are the only ones who arrest the respiration rate, no chemical treatments, and are carbon neutral in terms of our supply chain, right? We are a team of 7 people right now, but in total we have 3 global patents filed. We are an IP-led startup that is getting its product market fit as we speak. and mentored by scientists across different universities. We're looking at about 1 million to raise. These are the projections. We have much more detailed conversation on that offline. But this is projecting only the fodder numbers. I have not added the tomato numbers as yet. But we still are looking at being EBITDA positive at the third year. And so far our revenue has been from selling hardware. It's totally unrelated to this pitch conversation right now, but we sell hardware units that help farmers grow fodder. And that revenue is about 81 lakhs so far, last year, right? And this year we'll touch about 1 CR. We really want to shift from selling hardware to produce in tons. And the supply chain that I've said can supply about 2,500 tons of fodder and can aggregate about 4,000 tons of tomato. So that single supply chain will work for about roughly 6,000 tons two-way, right? And both of them getting to carbon neutral and helping the industries get to a carbon neutrality a lot more faster. Thank you.
I think you started off really well, but you lost me when you were describing the technicalities of the product. It would help you serve your purpose better. You were just stuck on one slide and you just went on talking. What prevented you from having 2-3 slides that gave me more drill down, right?
I'll just quickly add, Vasant, you began well, I must admit that, but I completely, lost the whole journey when you said my focus is export. And then there's a slide which says that 40 barrel done in Chitraturga, Karnataka, then Kolar, and then it says about 3 international. I think you're focused on saying that this is what I want to prove first and then go to the next. You'd have got the attention of an investor much better is what I feel, but good luck to you.
Okay.
Which stage currently you are? Do you have a one bottling unit or what exactly? I'm lost there.
So we are setting up what is called as the bottling unit as we speak.
Setting up?
Yeah, in Kolar.
Okay, so it's not your plant which is looking like?
We are setting it up, but that's how it will look like.
Okay.
It will work with fodder in the beginning and shift to getting tomatoes also. So it will be a two-way supply chain that I'll be able to demonstrate in a couple of months.
Okay. When you had started this?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Two questions I am having. How did you generate your revenue till now?
That's by selling hardware units, the fodder, hydroponic fodder kits.
Hydroponic fodders you are selling.
Yeah.
And the export thing you are interested in of this bottling unit or those hydroponic things?
No, we are looking at, so in terms of the barrel, we are looking at outright sale of barrel as one business and outright sale of tomatoes through the barrel as one line.
So what will be the life cycle of these barrels?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years. It needs a little bit of change in terms of, we're looking at investment to rapidly change that because we have given internal birthing inside the barrel so that the same can be used for blueberries also or smaller items also. So that requires a huge investment.
What are your margins in 81 lakh? How much is your net profit?
So in terms of fodder, our unit economics is that we end up with a margin of about 18%. Okay. Our hardware at the moment, the margins are anywhere between 40%. The tomato, I need more time to validate the unit economics, but the range is pretty huge, 20 to 60%, depending on which market you go after.
So the barrel looked very unique when we saw it. So I think do something more about it. I know you want to take the fodder route to get into the tomato route, but I think if there is something in that barrel, I think focus largely on that because that could be, the unique thing for you.
Sure.
And I may get interested in the future if you get this particular value for tomato thing you are talking about. You can pass that thing for you can say a validation that you clear out.
Yeah, so tomato we've validated already in GKVK in Karnataka. We still need more field validations. Sorting and grading has been very, very important. But I'll tell you that the same barrel can work for all multiple perishables, onions or whatever, right? But the supply chain remains the same. Fodder plus something, because I don't want to get into a business model where I don't have cash flows for 2 quarters. I believe fodder, I won't get cash flow for 2 quarters. I believe only tomato, I won't get cash flow for 2 quarters. So I want a fully a business, and that is why we made it multi-purpose, so that fodder and tomato fits very well in any part of the country. Thank you.